here to another live stream. We're going to go ahead and get everything set up here. But I hope everyone is doing good. We're here with another update for you guys this afternoon slash evening. I was going to go live earlier yesterday evening, but some things kind of got in the way. So I was unable to be live yesterday. So that's why we were not doing an update yesterday night. However, that will be different today. I have nothing on schedule for today. So we're going to be doing ourselves an update this afternoon and everything like that. But let's go ahead and get everything all set up here. I still need to put the thing in the chat and everything. What's up, Rock? I hope you're doing good. Let's see, I'm waiting for it for my live feed to actually, there we go, for it to pop up on my end here, which it just has. What's up, Amber? What's up, Appalachian Angel? Hope you're doing good. Ignore this. I'm going to put this in the chat for now. This is just, I usually pen this on the thing. What's up, Divas? What's up, Phantom? What's up? Hope you're doing good. Rocket says it's chilly here. Dude, we got a cold front coming through. Here, let's look at that real quickly. It's actually pretty crazy. If we take a look at we'll use the Never Accurate Model, NAM. We said NAM stands for Never Accurate Model. It's just a little thing. That's not actually what it means. But you can see this big swath coming down here. This is actually a big ridge of high pressure rolling through. And if we take a look here at the temperatures, they're going to get pretty chilly. By the way, tomorrow morning, y'all, we're going to be breaching the 50s and the 40s along the southeast. There's even some places that could experience some freezing out there in the blue. Across portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and everything like that. Panhandle, Florida is going to really get a little chilly tonight. Something that we don't really like too much down here. Places up in the Midwest, in the Ohio Valley here, we're going to be breaching in the 30s and some areas even in the 20s potentially out there across the region of the Midwest. And what's going on with that? We just have this little pocket of like 50 degrees. This is why you don't want to take that serious. I don't know what the heck's going on there. There's just that little pocket of like 50, maybe 60 degrees. I don't know, man. What's up, Georgianne? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Christian? What's up, Connie? Saying 38 is my low tonight. It's freezing. I bet. It's just something we're not really quite used to at this moment, but we're going to have to get used to it here soon because this is going to become more and more common. There might even be another wave of a cold front coming after this. There's still not too much support on it quite yet, so we're going to continue watching it, but I would say just start getting used to the cold because things are going to definitely start changing. What's up, Mark? Hope you're doing good, man. Saying Chefin, cold here in West Virginia. I bet it is, man. It's here. It's still kind of typical. It's 88 out right now, according to my Mesonet. 90 now. Yeah, the temperature really oscillates. But yeah, so I mean, it's still kind of normal temps, but I do notice the dew points down here are a lot lower, 65 from a normal 70 or 80. So less moisture in the air. So you can definitely change. You can definitely tell that there's something else happening. We had to put on hoodies in Mississippi. That never happens in October. Wow, man, that's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely been pretty cold. All right, let's talk tropics, everybody. So obviously we got 94L we're watching. Storm has been convecting on and off. Can't really see that circulation as well defined due to upper level clouds kind of obscuring that lower wind or that lower field there. You can see that we do have a little bit of clockwise spiraling kind of going on the top of that convection. Not a whole lot's really changed to it. It's still kind of fighting a lot of dry air as we were talking about here for a little bit. There is a lot of drier air, as you can see, kind of around it. So that darker color you see there, this is all dry air. That lighter color, that light gray, the white, that's representing moisture. And you can see that there's still quite a bit of pockets of dry air. Now, the storm is actually going to be running out of that dry air at some point over the next couple of days. So we'll definitely be looking at that in the models here in a second. Athena says, coolness where? AC blasting and sweating outside. Ocala, don't tease me, Andrew. Hey, I'm not teasing you. You know what? Actually, I'll go ahead and show you. Florida tomorrow morning's going to get pretty cold out there. Let's actually bring an HRRR for this. And let's see, we got 18 Zulu rolling through. So yeah, look at this. Here's temperatures in Florida. Take a look down here. So obviously right now, this is right around this point in time being, and as we cool down tonight, we're going to have that push of cold air. You see it coming down. That's actually going to make our highs tomorrow pretty low compared to what we're used to. But look at this. As we approach our way into the morning of the 17th, oh my goodness, I'm not liking that. So the morning of the 17th for Florida, this is some bad news for our Floridians out here, including me. It's going to be near 50 out there by me. But yeah, a lot of the northern panhandle, the panhandle up towards the Big Bend as well. It's going to be the lower 40s, dude, in Florida for what, mid-October? That is just, oh my goodness. Yeah, that, I put a post on Twitter earlier today. It was kind of real. It's like sometimes the cold weather can be worse for us Floridians than hurricanes. So it's going to be a bit of a problem. We don't really handle the cold too well down here, especially me anymore. I mean, I grew up north. I grew up in the cold, but I've been down here the last 3 winters, and I've already adapted to Florida weather. So it's like, oh, dude, that's going to be rough. It's going to be really rough. Let's see here. Gulf water still around 86. Let's see. Gulf water is still very warm. Yeah, about 28 Celsius. Still capable of tropical development, but there's no threat of anything going in the Gulf right now, so that's good. But yeah, let's hop back over here to the tropical system. So once again, yeah, this is a satellite view of it. We got a little bit of convection going on, not a whole lot of anything crazy. Once again, we're still seeing a lot of dry air around the storm here, so that's kind of what we're dealing with at the moment. But let's go ahead and hop over to models. Let's see what the models are talking about now. Well, first of all, let's actually look at the hurricane models and stuff like that. So this is the latest projections of 94L. That is the name of the system right now. It is what we call an investigation. It is an invest. It means we're investigating the storm. So basically, right now, this is the latest hurricane spaghetti model predictions here. So we're going to continue to a westerly movement over the next several days as we continue to battle some drier air, at least over the next 1 or 2 days or so. As we approach our way here right around the 17th, 18th, that's whenever the storm's going to be kind of up in these regions here. And that's whenever the storm's going to start to interact with some more moisture. Therefore, at that point in time, that's probably when that storm is going to start to kind of pick up and, start to strengthen a little bit. So I do want you guys to watch out. Now, I've said this earlier, and I'll say it again. This is very important. So if you know anybody who's out there currently for vacation in the Caribbean or anywhere like that, these areas need to have their heads up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and list off some of these regions I do want you guys to be monitoring closely. So obviously we have the Leeward Islands. I do want the Leeward Islands to be watching this closely. I do want the Virgin Islands to be watching this. Puerto Rico. I do want Dominican Republic and Haiti to be watching this, in southern Bahamas and even Cuba. There's a lot of areas there I just circled. Those are the regions I really want you guys to be monitoring this because it seems like the latest trend ever since yesterday, and it's still being supported, it does seem like this storm could be a potential impact for the Caribbean islands. So it's better to be prepared ahead of time. There is still a lot of things we don't understand with the system. We kind of wait and see how it reacts to once it rolls into that moisture we were talking about. But I do want you guys to be monitoring this very closely. It never hurts to be prepared early. If you could, go ahead and get some preparations together if you live in some of those regions there. Just make sure that you have things together. There's no need to the panic and go buy out everything in the grocery store. No, just make sure you have some things to last you. Once again, we don't know exactly how strong this thing is going to be quite yet, but it does look like the tracks are much more narrow. You can see that they're unfortunately kind of having this thing literally riding right on the coast of some of these regions, like the Lesser Antilles, the Leeward Islands out there. Obviously the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic and Haiti. Some of the models actually have this thing making landfall potentially in the Dominican Republic. That is not a for sure thing yet. But, like I said, just make sure you guys just start prepping, just make sure, you got some food, you got some water stocked up, non-perishable stuff, that way you can just, prep for it. And if you don't need it, then you don't need it and you'll eat it eventually. So it's like, just, go ahead and start preparing for it. It would be good. That way you guys can obviously be ready for it if it does turn for the worst, which, some of the models do show this thing being a hurricane as it approaches these waters here. Some of the models has a depression or a tropical storm. So there's still kind of a wide variety of what the models are showing. But so that's that. That's the spaghetti models. And I do want those Caribbean islands to be really watching out for it. Once again, listen up, guys. If you have any family who's currently on vacation, if you know any relatives who live in these areas, such as the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba, the eastern side of Cuba, as well as southern Bahamas. I do want you guys to be on alert, and it would not hurt to prep for the storm if you guys could, because like I said, the track is really narrowed. Regardless, this thing's going to be bringing a bit of rain for you guys out here, so there obviously could be some flooding for some of these regions. So keep that in mind. I just want you guys to prep for it. Just make sure you guys, now's the time to start getting some of those things together. That way, we're not going to wait until last minute to see what it does. It's obviously better to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Once again, there's a shot that this thing, won't be a hurricane. There's a shot that this thing could just be a, potential depression or tropical storm. But even then, like I said, it still could be bringing, a bit of rainfall. B-Dub, please keep politics out of chat, man. This is a weather channel. We're just keeping everything up to date with the weather. Nothing political here, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, so, that's what we're looking at. Will it hit Florida? It is not currently a threat for anywhere in the U.S. That is really good news. There's no current threat for the system going into U.S. territory, or I really should say mainland U.S. It could impact Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory. Here's the latest intensity guidance. But yeah, for Florida, no, we're good. Here's the latest intensity guidance regarding the storms from the spaghetti models. You can see that, over the next couple days, we're going to start to slowly ramp up in intensity as we start to roll into more moisture. And as we continue to work our way here to the north, to the west here, we'll continue to increase in our overall speed and strength here, and majority of models absolutely has this thing getting up into tropical storm status. And like I said, there's actually a handful of models that supports this thing even becoming a hurricane. Now, as of the guidance right now, it does seem like the fact that we are it does seem like the fact that we're probably going to be in low-end hurricane if we do achieve that status. There's not a whole lot of models that have this thing going up in the major hurricane status, so as of now, that's not really a concern. More than likely at this point in time, it could just be a tropical storm. But remember, things can change, and that forecast will be changing quite a bit over the next couple of days due to the fact that we still have a bit of uncertainty. So once again, just keep an eye out there for that. Once again, the models, they have kind of narrowed down overall. Cotton Candy says it's not true. It is very true, my friend. And yeah, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, so we obviously, like I said, we have the narrowing there with the hurricane models, indicating that there is more agreement between those models that has been occurring since yesterday, in which, once again, this is putting this thing just off the coast, if not right next to, the Leeward Islands out there, there towards the, once again, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, as well as, like I said, possibly southern Bahamas as well in eastern Cuba. Should just monitor the storm here overall. And once again, preparations, it's never too early to prepare. So make sure that you guys just have, those things ready to go, non-perishable foods, water, just, get it together. And like I said, if you don't need it, if this storm turns out to be a dud, if you don't need it, then you're going to eat it and, drink the water anyways. So, just, it's good to get it early if you can. That way you're not fighting at the last minute if this thing does turn further south. Like I mentioned, there is a good amount of models that does support this thing being a tropical storm. Like I said, maybe even a low-end hurricane does seem to be a possibility, but there is still a bit of uncertainty with this. Here's more of the ensemble data from the models here. This is the GFS ensembles here. You can see the majority of them do have this thing going towards the region, like we just talked about with the main hurricane models themselves overall. Then, of course, we do have ourselves the GEPS ensembles, which you can see the majority of these members here does have this thing going towards those regions as well. So, once again, my folks out there towards the Lesser Antilles, they're in the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, eastern Cuba, and southern Bahamas. I do want you guys to be monitoring the system. Once again, regardless, there's going to be quite a bit of precipitation with this as well. So if this thing fully doesn't develop into a big tropical cyclone, it's still going to be bringing a lot of rain once it gets here overall. Let's see, do I think it's so weird that there's many hurricanes during an election year? No, not really. This is just typical fall activity, typical hurricane season stuff. No, there's nothing political. And please, like I said, keep politics out of chat, y'all, overall. Let's see here. But yeah, Anonymous is bringing on. Yeah, I hope, like I said, y'all, please just, prepare for it. Obviously, if you get things done earlier, the better, overall. So, anyways, but yeah, so once again, make sure you have some non-perishable foods. Make sure you have some water. That would do good. And that way you guys are early prep for it. And once again, if you don't need it, which would be good, say the storm doesn't turn out to be as bad as some of the models are suggesting here. Once again, just like I said, it'll be good that you have it. That way, if it does turn worse, then you still have it together. Okay. No, it's not panic time. No, absolutely not. Like I mentioned, there's no need to go buy out of these stores right now. Models, like I said, don't even really suggest this thing getting into major hurricane status. At most, maybe Cat 1 overall, at least from what we're seeing now. More than likely, I think this thing will probably be a tropical storm here overall. So we'll definitely be watching it. Let's see here. But yeah, so that that is what we are talking about. Oh, railroad. I'm so sorry, dude. I missed your comment. Oh man. Any chance of it coming to Florida? Yeah, as of right now, there's no current guidance showing this thing being a threat to the U.S. at all. I know there's been a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of basically a lot of people just hyping people up for no reason, saying that it's going to hit Florida. No, this is currently not a threat for Florida. Once again, it's still a little too far out there. So that's that. But yeah, so no worries for the U.S. right now. Like I said, right now, I just want you guys to watch out there towards, the Lesser Antilles up there in the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, once again, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, southern areas here of, Bahamas and eastern Cuba. I do want you guys just to keep an eye on it. Once again, no need for full-on panic or anything like that. Like I said, we got you all covered. Let's see here. Glad to see you back. What's up, A. Martinez? Hope you're doing good, man. How did my house and weather station fare? Well, my weather station did phenomenal. It held up very well. The house, we had a little bit of problems with our skirting on the bottom of the house. A lot of that came off the tracks and came undone, which is unfortunate. We did have some shingles that we lost as well because I was actually in the eye wall of Milton as a Cat 2. It was still a mid-end Cat 2 when I was in the eye wall of Milton. But, we did have ourselves some impacts, but it could have been a whole lot worse. Appreciate you for asking, man. But yeah. Anyways, let's see here. Anonymous says, hit the like, join me, hit the like. I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. Like I said, we're just here to give you guys updates. We're here to keep you guys weather informed and everything like that. Once again, right now, the models, the main hurricane models have started to narrow in regarding, like I said, the system here, the idea of the track is becoming more known at this point. Models have been kind of narrow for the last day or so. And like we mentioned, more than likely the storm is going to continue moving west over the next little bit. It's going to do that. And then, of course, it's probably going to pass north of the Virgin Islands, at least as of now. This guidance shows right now. Probably pass north of the Virgin Islands, north of Puerto Rico. There is some model support that has this thing potentially making landfall, like I said, in the Dominican Republic. That's still not certain right now. But we'll keep an eye on it. How's Jamaica? Jamaica should be fine from the system, but, as the storm rolls through, say this thing does hit the Dominican Republic, the storm would be shredded apart by the time it gets to Jamaica. Right now, this storm does not seem to be any big problem for you guys out in Jamaica. You guys are kind of protected by Cuba, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic because the storm here is going to, like I mentioned, overall, roll its way to the west, go over those areas, which some of the regions are actually mountainous, which would allow for that lower level wind field to be very much disturbed due to terrain. So that will, potentially allow the storm to die out quickly. Once again, we're still not too sure on the strength. Some models show potential hurricane, like I said, lower end hurricane status, potential category 1 or so, while most of the models at least support a tropical storm. That's kind of where we're standing right now. We're kind of not too sure on the models, the strength right now. Overall, like we mentioned here before, the storm is currently dealing with a bit of dry air. We do have a bit of dry air infiltrated in the system right now, which is basically allowing the storm to not really convect as much as it should be doing. You need that convection, you need that thunderstorm activity to get the storm going and to get that overall structure developed and just get the storm rolling, basically. And you can see that we do have a little bit of convection here and there, but this whole thing needs to be convecting, in which right now it's not really. You can see some of these pockets in the darker shades. This is just dry air kind of around the system. You can see these convective plumes are in white, indicating that there is moisture, there is saturation going on out there. Once again, a bit of dry air right now, but the storm's going to be rolling its way into a better environment once we approach our way here kind of around the 17th or so, 17th, 18th, and at that point in time, this storm will be kind of out there towards the just north of the the Leeward Islands, or sorry, the Windward Islands out there. They're towards areas near the Virgin Islands and so on. So like I mentioned, we'll be watching that. Let's go and hop over to models here. We're going to take a look at the HWRF. Once again, this is one model. This is one model run. Take this with a grain of salt. Once again, this is something you guys need to understand, that these models are not perfect. They're essentially tools. They're never perfect. But let's just go ahead and get on into it. So let me first of all show you guys this, so you can see that there is quite a fair amount of air, or dry air, indicated here in kind of the tannish brown color. That is representing a bit of drier air, lower humidity throughout the atmosphere, meaning less water vapor, less potential convection overall. So that's kind of the problem right now in the region, the reason why the storm isn't necessarily kicking off too much right now. But as we continue to progress in time, it will still continue to battle air for at least the next couple of days. But once we start to kind of approach the 18th or so, you notice how we're mostly filled with more moisture. There's more water vapor in the atmosphere here. There's more potential for convection. Once again, we do have ourselves, humidity on average throughout the atmosphere, 700 to 300 millibar range, right around like 70+%. So that is, a fair amount of moisture and good enough for convection. So at that point, that's when that storm's gonna start to kick off. Overall, like we mentioned before, the sea surface temperatures are definitely warm enough for development. Once again, there is other things that comes into it. Some people just believe that the ocean temperatures is all that there is to it. That's not true. The three main things for forecasting tropical cyclones is wind shear. If there's a lot of winds that's foreign to the storm, could cut off some of that development, which it doesn't seem like shear is going to be as much of an issue, right? At least as of right now, from what I've seen. Overall, like I mentioned, moisture right now is kind of the main issue, lacking moisture throughout the next couple of days, but before rolling into more moisture here right around the 18th or so. And then, of course, you have the sea surface temperatures, which, once again, it's not the only thing that we look at, but they are supportive for development overall. So do I think this will affect Cuba? So I would say keep an eye out there for eastern Cuba. I do think that, there could be potential impacts. It just depends on the track and everything like that. Here's the latest HWRF model, showing this thing kind of more in the tropical storm realm of things. You can see, regardless, of what it does, it is going to be bringing a good amount of rainfall throughout portions here of the Virgin Islands, throughout portions of, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. Like I mentioned, Eastern Cuba should keep an eye out there for it overall. Once again, we're not entirely sure how strong the storm's going to be as we approach those areas. There still is a lot of uncertainty and everything like that. Just kind of determines on how well it's going to kind of get a hold of itself once it rolls up into that moisture overall. How about Aruba? This thing will be north of Aruba. This should not cause any problem for you guys out there. Let's see here. Roger says, glad to see you're back up safe and running. I appreciate that, man. Yep, definitely good to be back. Definitely thankful to have my AC back on. That was one of the main things. It really sucked, dude. Having with no power for over 80 hours here, when the inside here was like 80, 90 degrees and high humidity. Then, of course, whenever I'd step outside to cool down, there's so much mosquitoes due to all the dampness that was out there from the storm. It's like, oh my gosh, it never ends. But thankfully, we got our power back the other day, and it's much better. I am very, very happy to be here with you guys again overall. So, anyways, let's see here. But yeah, like I said, we'll continue to watch this. There still is a lot of uncertainty with the system overall. Once again, this thing does start to acquire more moisture as we approach our way towards those islands there, towards the Virgin Islands. We really start to kind of grasp a lot of that moisture as we kind of pass towards like Puerto Rico, as well as, potential landfall in the Dominican Republic. There is a couple of models that do support that. Let's take a look here at the HMON. I haven't looked at this model quite yet today. I looked at the 0 Zulu run, but not the 12 Zulu yet. This is the newer one. Still continues battling that air. And you can see, this, once again, regardless of what this thing turns out to be, it does seem like the models have been kind of downtrending this thing, which is good, over the last couple of runs. That is definitely good, but regardless, there's still going to be a lot of moisture. There's still going to be a lot of convection, a lot of thunderstorm activity with this, and therefore there is going to be a pretty good amount of rain regardless. So there will be potential for flooding across some of these regions here, regardless of whatever strength it is going to have a lot of precipitation on it, rolling its way through the Virgin Islands, through potential Puerto Rico, definitely Dominican Republic and Haiti, and overall those, some of those Caribbean islands out there could be dealing with a good amount of rainfall there overall. Then, of course, let's take a look at the GFS here. We're going to see what's going on with the latest GFS and see what kind of craziness it's showing now. GFS... it really doesn't seem like GFS is really grasping that system as it once it was. So that's actually really good news. Once again, it does seem like the models are starting to downtrend this system overall, which, like I mentioned, that is great news. You can still see all that moisture that's available for the system though. Still could be quite a bit of a rain concern. Here, let's take a look at precipitable water. It might be one of the better things to look at regarding this. We do get some higher PW values once we approach, once all that moisture approaches some of those islands out there, which, would increase rainfall rates and stuff like that. So we'll definitely look out for flooding. Once again, the full-on impacts are still pretty much unknown due to the fact that, this is kind of a complicated system to forecast, This system here, like I mentioned, it's currently fighting a lot of dry air. Overall, so like I mentioned, there's still a lot of things we need to learn over the next couple of days. We'll do we'll continue to observe the storm. We'll continue to watch those new model runs come out as we get closer, and just keep an eye on it. Let's see. Patricia says, hello, new here. What's up? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Saying you haven't seen anything coming for Florida way. Nope. As of right now, Patricia, everything's looking good. And like I said, I know there's a lot of people, misinforming people just for the clicks and stuff like that. I'm here to tell you that Florida is currently under no threat at all. Matter of fact, nowhere in the mainland United States is currently under any concern for tropical weather. The main thing that we got going on in the country right now is this big old cool down that we're talking about. But for hurricane and tropical weather activity, Patricia, I am happy to tell you that there is no current threat for any tropical cyclones, especially for Florida or anywhere else in the U.S. So happy to tell you that. This storm right here is kind of a concern more for the Caribbean islands. And the good news is what's going to end up happening is that this dry air up here in Florida, this is going to kind of protect the coastal U.S. from potential impacts. One thing that tropical systems do not like is dry air. And there is going to be a lot of dry air due to this big old ridge that we have in the southeastern U.S., bringing all that cooler air, bringing down all that drier air and just higher pressure should help keep this thing away from the U.S. So as of now, there is currently no issues, no concerns for anywhere in the U.S. regarding any tropical activity. I am more than happy to tell you that, my friend. More than happy to tell you that. Let's see. What's up? Saying, hey, hope you're doing good. Was it Binksy? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. We're just enjoying a cold front in Mississippi right now. I hear you. Yeah, that thing's going to be working its way down. Let's go and hop down here to the southeast. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to be really feeling this, especially the winds. You can see that, just that big push down there. You can see the cold front's currently working its way down here, and you can see once it hits the water, it increases those winds. Just a little bit of a heads up to the boaters out there. There could be some windy conditions once this cold front pushes through. Possibly some areas receiving around 30 knot sustained winds. So it could get pretty windy with this cold front. Just a bit of a heads up to my boaters out there in the Gulf and some of the places off of the eastern Florida as well. This is going to be causing a bit of a bit of gusty conditions out there, a bit of windy conditions. So, the smaller vessels, just make sure to take note of that if you are traveling. Just know that it's going to be a little rough, okay? And due to this wind and everything like that, there's going to be increased seas. Those waves are going to start to increase in size as well. The typical, stuff. So just keep an eye out there for that. That's going to be happening. It looks like that cold front's going to start to pierce into the Gulf here right around the morning here tomorrow. Actually, right around midnight potentially tonight. But yeah, early tomorrow morning for the 16th overall. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking out there for regarding precip and stuff like that. It doesn't look like there's going to be really any thunderstorms, being an issue for the U.S. or for most of the areas here. Honestly, that's pretty good. It looks like we could have a couple storms out there in the Gulf, but that's not going to really be much of a problem. So that's good. So at least there's no big old squall line or anything like that. Sometimes we do have with these. Let's see here. Will this hit Florida? No, it's not currently projected to cause any problems for Florida. Like I mentioned, we actually have some atmospheric conditions that's good to help aid in Florida being protected. And what I mean by that is dry air. There's going to be a lot of, so all that brown you see there, that's going to be a bunch of dry air. One thing tropical cyclones hate is a lot of dry air, and there's going to be a lot of that. So first of all, that's going to help protect a lot of those regions out there overall. So that'll be good. Once again, that high pressure is going to be in place, helping kind of shield this thing away from the U.S. The only areas, like I said, that really need to be monitoring this here is a lot of the Caribbean. Once again, like the Leeward Islands up there in the Lesser Antilles. Of course, we have the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Southern Bahamas, and Eastern Cuba. Those are really the areas I want you guys to watch. Regardless of the strength of the system, we are going to see a bit of rain out there. That does seem to be a good understanding with the models and everything like that. So there's going to be a bit of precipitation across some of those regions there from this upcoming system. Once again, the models, they're still kind of all over the place. There's a handful of models that does show this thing being a low-end hurricane. Some of the models showing it being a tropical storm. Let's actually take a look back at the spaghetti plot intensity guidance. If you take that median average roughly, you can see that we obviously pick up a lot of strength here. There is a chance that we could approach upper end tropical storm, maybe lower end hurricane. As of now, I'm happy to tell you guys this thing is likely not going to be anything near major hurricane status. I'm definitely happy to tell you that. But like I mentioned, the median there does have this thing definitely likely getting in the tropical storm status. At that point, it does seem quite possible. But maybe even low-end hurricane status, according to even still a handful of models suggesting that possibility of at least a Category 1, or at least a tropical storm, but, potentially in the Category 1 realm. So we'll continue to watch out for that. Once again, the models are still kind of all over the place there. The good news, well, good and not so good news, the models, they have obviously kind of became a lot more in agreement. Here you can see how tightly compact these tracks are from the hurricane models here, from the spaghetti models that we see, indicating that we kind of have a better idea on where the thing's going to go. Once again, the intensity still not so much, but regarding its track here, this thing is going to be, going out there towards, once again, some of the regions out there by the Virgin Islands, the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, overall. So, once again, for these regions out there, it would not hurt to monitor the storm, of course, but, if you can, at some point, just grab yourself a little bit of water, grab yourself some, canned goods. If this thing turns out to be a dud and nothing, at least you're prepared for it. And not to mention, don't consider it a waste, because you're going to eat that food anyways. You're going to drink that water anyways. So just go ahead and get it now. That way you don't have to worry about it later. If this thing does become a system that could be very much impactful, or if this thing turns out to be a dud, like I said, it's just better to be prepared than to not. That's what it really boils down to overall. So, just if you guys can, you don't need to do that right now, but just, at least within the next couple of days, I would just advise maybe just getting an extra case of water when you go out, a little bit of non-perishable foods in case if power goes out, stuff like that. Once again, the intensity is still not quite known. The track is better known. It does look like it is going to come right there towards some of those heavy areas in the Caribbean. Once again, such as the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti. It seems like those guys are going to be some of the heaviest impacted. And like I said, regardless, there's going to be a lot of rain with it. So there could be the potential in those low-lying areas of seeing a bit of flooding. Okay, that is something that I do want you guys to know. Let's see here. Cold front for Houston. I don't think the thing's going to be reaching Houston. Let me double check on that. I could be wrong. I really haven't paid attention over there, but I feel like it's cut off mostly for the eastern side of the U.S. I feel like I remember the Central Plains. Oops. And just the plains in general. Yeah, not cooling down as much. Yeah, I mean, in the east here, we're going to be cooling down in some areas in the 30s, in some areas maybe the 20s, while in Texas, we're going to be down to 50s. So there's going to be a little bit of a cool down, but the majority of the impacts with this cold front is going to be out there towards the east overall. So you're still going to feel it, but it's not going to be as potent as areas are east of you. So do I suspect any severe weather for the south any times after this nice weather? As of right now, I don't see any concerns for severe weather. Let's take a quick little peek at the Storm Prediction Center here real quick. So for today, we don't got anything going on. There's no current risk for any type of severe weather. Overall, today being Tuesday, tomorrow being Wednesday, nothing. Here for Thursday, there's nothing severe. As of right now, y'all, there's nothing in the forecast for anything, severe weather-wise to be coming through, so that's good news. Sometimes on these cold fronts that we get, there is severe weather, sometimes those squall lines that we look out for, but this is not going to be the case this time. Overall, it looks like the models and stuff like that. Here, let's take a look at this. It really doesn't seem like there's going to be hardly any instability available for any type of convection, any type of thunderstorm activity. There could be some out there in the Gulf, like I mentioned, due to the fact that we still have some instability out here in the Gulf. That would just be some thunderstorms for the Gulf area. But for main inland areas out there in the southeast, there's not going to be much. This is in the past, by the way. This right here, this is current time. There's not any instability to really convect any of those thunderstorms. So that is good news, of course. we don't really want those severe weather because sometimes they can get pretty nasty on cold fronts. The thing that we're really looking out here for is, like I mentioned, a lot of dry air. You see all that brown out there? There's a lot of dry air out there, in which that's going to keep things relatively dry. Hardly any precip to none at all out in those regions. High pressure dome will be building in here, keeping that tropical system that we're watching away from the U.S. It does not seem like it's going to have any kind of problem for the U.S. Like I said, I know there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of people that are spreading fake news, especially TikTok. Definitely don't follow them because a lot of them are just hype and just do it for the clicks. But no, as of now, I'm telling you, you're hearing it here. There is no current concern, any problems for the mainland U.S. regarding tropical activity. The main thing that we're currently watching right now is this cold front. It's just going to be chilly, okay? That's literally the only thing we got really going on for us here in the U.S. So please don't worry about it here in the country. And like I said, if something does become a problem, you guys know me. I'll be on it. We'll be covering it. I've been doing this for years, man. We've been keeping you guys updated for several years. I think I really started in like 2020 is when I first started. 2021 is when I really got going. But we've been doing this for many years, man. And like I said, if anything does pop up that's any concern, we will let you guys know. Okay? Like I said, no reason to worry. But my folks in the Caribbean, just prepare for quite a rainstorm regardless. Once again, potentially a tropical cyclone. Once again, some models support tropical storm and hurricane strength. We'll continue to monitor that. Once again, there still is a lot of uncertainty. And we're just going to have to observe the system. We're just going to have to watch it as it reacts to the environment. Once again, right now, if we take a look at the system, it's 94L, by the way. We have a little bit of convection out there, especially now. We got a nice little convective burst popping up. Look at some of those hot towers out there. Anyways, but yeah, like I mentioned, right now there's limited convection. The storm really needs a lot more thunderstorm activity on it to kind of develop itself and strengthen overall. So yeah, that's kind of what we're waiting on. Right now, it's not doing that because of the fact that we do have an abundance of dry air in the atmosphere. If we take a look here at the water vapor scan, you can actually see, like I mentioned, all of that kind of darkish gray and black almost there. That's representing dry air, low humidity throughout the atmosphere. And you can notice how the main part of the system here, there's a little bit of kind of a grayish white in some areas that is showing some saturation, showing that there is more water vapor present in the atmosphere. All of that's condensed right there. That's why it's so bright white. But there's more water vapor in here over in those regions there, representing more humidity and stuff like that overall, is which basically what these storms need. But like I mentioned, as we approach our way here into right around the 17th, late 17th, kind of the 18th mostly, that's when the storm itself, that circulation, is going to cross over into more moisture. And at that point, that's whenever the system here is expected to start picking up, and that's when it's expected to start to strengthen once we kind of roll our way into that moisture out there. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you guys. That's, when we expect some things to start kind of kicking up here overall. Let's see here. We went through a squall line once that got me into severe weather, spooked me and fascinated me. Dude, they will do that, man. They will do that. There's some crazy weather out there. That's how I was with Helene. Like I said, I was in the eye wall of Helene. It was a Cat 2, mid and Cat 2 when I was in the eye wall. It was definitely, quite an experience. I'll say that. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't scary. It was very fascinating. Obviously, I didn't like the random noises that happened, due to damage. I was mostly worried about the damage rather than, my safety and stuff like that. Because, I was in a cinder block house. I was not worried about that. But, yeah, it's, it was just something else, man. It's just something else. And weather is so fascinating. Super, super cool stuff. Let's see, you're one of the best on here, sir. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, I try to do the best I can. The main thing here, guys, is just to keep you guys weather aware, keep you guys prepared. And we'll continue to watch these storms, over the next, for as long as I do this. Once again, I'm going to be doing this for as long as I literally can. So I plan on being here for several years with you guys. And like I mentioned, every single time when there's a big severe weather event coming up, we always talk about it. And even in the off season and stuff like that, we're still giving you guys weather updates periodically and stuff like that. So if you haven't already, it'd be a good time to subscribe, y'all. It'd be greatly appreciated. Double tap that screen if you guys could as well. Just to help boost the algorithm, help our channel out here. Be much appreciated. Let's see. Isaac says, I got more interested in August this year when a moderate risk hit in Illinois. I think I covered that, right? August? I know we covered quite a bit. I know we had some really nasty severe weather in spring this year. We had that one, shoot, I forgot the day was it. Once again, that's one of my weak things, y'all, is remembering past events, like their dates and everything. But I do remember we had that big high risk earlier in the year. That was pretty bad. Let's see. What's up, Jess? Hope you're doing good. Saying hi. What did I miss? What's up? So, just kind of talking about what's going on here. Cold front related, into what's happening with the country. We got a lot of cold air coming down. Also talk about the tropics. We got 94L we're watching right here. Has a bit of dry air around it, kind of struggling at the moment, but that will roll into a better environment here right around the 18th, which will start to get that storm potentially strengthening and stuff like that. Models are suggesting tropical storm, maybe hurricane, for potential landfall, maybe near the Dominican Republic. We still are not too sure on that, but it does seem like the models have came to a better agreement on where the thing will go. Obviously this thing's going to be creeping just to the north, if not right next to like the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and just some of those regions there in general. So, let's see here. Do I think a severe weather outbreak will occur one more time this year? Isaac, it's hard to tell for sure. But we call fall, quote unquote, second spring due to the fact that we're reintroducing cold air into the country. The main thing with severe weather is the temperature gradient, the temperature differential. So in springtime, the upper atmosphere is very cold from the winter months, and the lower atmosphere starts to heat up due to more direct sunlight. Therefore, we got the hot air rising and the cold air sinking, and we got that, that convection that really kicks off in spring. That's why it's so crazy. Now, as you go through summertime, the atmosphere is already heated up, both on the surface and both up in the atmosphere. So you don't get as much severe weather. Weather systems can bring down some, temporary cold air, which can cause these random events to occur. But then you got fall, which is what we're heading into now. And at this point, the upper atmosphere is still very much warmed up, and the lower atmosphere is, still starting to get a little cooler. And then once we start introducing these, these cold fronts and stuff like that, that the cold front really does start to convection again and all that stuff. That's when we typically see a lot of cold front activity in fall, and more isolated severe weather, more like supercells, isolated supercells in the spring. And you see more squall lines in the fall. If you really pay attention, you'll notice it overall. Let's see here. Adam says, I was on, I have no idea how you say that, man. As a U.S. traveler, just subscribe due to my new interest in weather systems. I appreciate that, Adam. Thank you, man. I appreciate you subscribing. Like I said, we'll, if you have any questions throughout this, if you're new, which obviously you're new here, you can ask my old subscribers here. We keep you guys up to date throughout all of these systems here. And I try my best to get to everybody's chat messages. Unfortunately, sometimes I can't get to everybody's chat because of how busy I am, reporting. But I do absolutely try to get to every single question if possible. Okay. But like I said, Adam, if you have any questions, man, feel free to let me know and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Let's see, November is big on supercells too. A lot of embedded, Mothman. I've noticed that there's a lot of embedded supercells within squall lines overall. But to me, it always seems like, during the springtime, you have more of those dry line setups. You know what I'm saying? More of those discrete supercell activity. Let's see here. Adam says off the coast of Cancun and the Yucatan Peninsula. Gotcha. There's actually a storm that we're watching out there as well. I'm not expecting much of anything on it. Here, we're going to bring this up for you guys. We're going to take a look over there. We just got a little lemon over here. 20% chance of overall formation here. Right now we are seeing, like I said, 10% chance of development in the next 2 days, 20% chance overall. That actually was a 30%. They did drop that. This over here, this 94-hour watching, the probability did go down from 60 to 50 due to a little bit more uncertainty here, but still has a decent chance of forming. We're still going to keep a close eye on this guy. Once again, this one, models, I've noticed not really picking up too much on this thing. I mean, if anything, it's going to be just a lot of rain. You can see it kind of right there. Models don't really pick up too much on it. Just a lot of rain out there towards southern Mexico and stuff like that, which, it doesn't really look like this thing's even going to go back into the Gulf or anything like that. So that's good news. Euro, let's take a look at ECMWF here. Good to get all the models agreement here, yeah, so just a lot of rain according to Euro. Yeah, I don't expect much out of that one overall. Here's Icon. Icon shows that is a weird take. So Icon actually has that tropical system 94L we're watching going right between Cuba and Haiti and kind of squeezing its way between Jamaica and Cuba. That is a very interesting take with Icon there. It's kind of dodging all this region. CMC, on the other hand, I mean, kind of doing the same. Once again, we're just going to have to continue watching this. There's still a lot of uncertainty regarding this system, man. So there's still a lot of things we don't really know about it. Did I already discuss the data from my weather station? I did a little bit, but I want to show you guys the data I got. So if you don't know, I have a Mesonet, which is a scientific grade weather station. This is what I recorded. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I showed this or not. So this is pressure. You know how we measure pressure? For example, if we go back to the models, you'll see us measuring pressure like, oh, look, 1,002 millibars on that storm. Yeah, and of course you got Icon showing the pressure getting down into like the 970s, 980s, potential hurricane. But no, this is actual observed data that I collected on my weather station here. Once again, I have a Mesonet. Pressure got down to 971 millibars from Milton, which is pretty crazy. See, 970 in Lakeland. Yeah, station pressure, that is. Barometric, basically, mean sea level pressure, MSLP. That was right around 974, 975-ish. with that altimeter set. But yeah, no, station pressure, we got down to 971 millibars, which for people who don't really know pressure that well, that's about category 2 strength, in which it was a category 2. Once again, I was in the eye wall of Milton as a category 2. It was a kind of a mid-low end category 2 at the point when I was in the top eye wall of the storm. It was pretty crazy, man. It was pretty crazy. Now, unfortunately, the wind data, I didn't get such good wind data from the system. I found out that my Mesonet still sits below the roof of my house, so it's kind of blocking a lot of those winds. Actually, I ordered new pipe. I'm getting ready to push my anemometer up another 4 foot. That will clear it from the roof. So now I'll be able to get actual, like, surrounding wind data rather than being kind of caught between the houses here. That's kind of my problem. So that way, when next storm hits, hopefully, which is a long time from now, I will have good wind data. But pressure, regardless, no matter where you put it, it's going to give you some good data. So that's my best set of data I got out of Milton there. Appalachian Angel says, hit that like button. I appreciate it. Thank you. What's up, Peachy? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good, my friend. But like I said, you guys, yeah, if y'all have any questions, feel free to let me know. Let's take a quick little minute to talk about the, we'll take a quick little minute to talk about that cold front here a little bit. We're going to hop on down here. So this is the, let's actually pull up HRRR here. That's not a hurricane model. Here, let's do 18 Zulu. So did you all hear that? Somebody beeping their horn outside. So as we approach our way into tomorrow morning, this is the 16th here, right around 8 a.m., which is like the coldest part of the morning, 7, 8 a.m. You can actually see that Panhandle, Florida, remember, this is not the coldest day yet. I want to go ahead and leave you all with that. But Panhandle, Florida could be in the 50s. Out there towards the Tennessee Valley, could even be in the mid-30s out there. And if we take a look up there towards like the Midwest, you notice how there's some sub-freezing temperatures out there. Iowa, Wisconsin, we could get into maybe even the mid-20s according to the HRRR. Which is a little crazy. But of course, we come to the morning of the 17th, some freezing potentially out there towards the Ohio Valley. Very cold down in the south. Look at that. Florida, Central Florida is going to be in the upper 40s, lower 50s at that time being. It's going to be very cold, especially for us down here in Florida. We cannot handle the cold really at all down here. But yeah, then we do got ourselves, like I said, the Tennessee Valley here, Ohio Valley. We're going to be near freezing in some spots, especially those rural areas. There's obviously cities, they generate more heat, more exhaust and, lights and everything like that. The cities are typically a good 2 to 4 degrees warmer than, other areas in the rural areas. But yeah, you can see that there, HRRR here for the morning of the 17th here. There's some spots that, we could be breaking in the freezing rural. More of those major cities, a little bit warmer. But regardless, 30s, dude. It's going to be cold, man. Cold, man. Let's see here. Fish says, awesome channel. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we do our best to keep everybody up to date, informed here. And, once again, I do want to tell you guys something. I don't know if you guys have been hearing some idiots on TikTok and stuff like that saying that there might be a storm coming to Florida. They've been talking about 94L, saying this one's going to come to Florida. It's not. I'm going to let you guys know that right now, just to kind of unspread that misinformation that idiots show. But yeah, once again, right now, you hear it here. There is no current tropical threat for anywhere in the United States. Right now, the only concern is for more of the Caribbean islands out there towards like the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti. That's kind of where we're watching. Once again, we're not entirely too sure how strong the storm is going to be. Likely tropical storm, if not hurricane strength. Majority of models has it between tropical and hurricane. Regardless of what it does, it is going to bring a lot of rain for some of these places. So, just prep for rainfall out there. And once again, it wouldn't hurt just to maybe pick up an extra case of water, pick up some non-perishable foods next time you go out. Just that way you have it. If the storm does turn for the worst and does strengthen more than we expected, which has happened a lot this year, talking about Helene, anyways, yeah, I mean, just in case, that does happen. That way you'd be prepared for it. Sometimes these storms can surprise us, even us weather people. So, like I said, it's just definitely a good thing just to make sure you have an extra little bit, and even if you don't need it, say if this thing does become a dud, say it becomes a dud and you don't end up eating that non-perishable food and stuff, you're going to eat it anyways, right? At some point, you're going to be slowly eating up your hurricane supply after the season's over. So, just wouldn't hurt. Let's see here. Hello, everyone. Take your time to like the stream if you haven't subscribed as well. Hit the Thank you. I appreciate that, Peachy. It means a lot to me. Isaac says, what do I think about hurricanes will be in like 100 years? Honestly, it's kind of a hard take. It just depends. I know this can get political, and I'm not making this political. Obviously, I'm not like I said, this is not the political channel. I'm keeping politics completely out. See, that's kind of a heated topic. I really don't want to touch too much on. There's obviously everybody has their own opinions and their beliefs and stuff like that, but I do feel like that, we might have some more activity. It does seem like the hurricane seasons are showing more and more activity. I also want to put in perspective, a lot of people don't really talk about, is the fact that Earth is actually coming out of an ice age. I don't know if you guys, there's not many people that say this, but the Earth that we live on, of course, we're actually coming out of an ice age. So what do you expect to happen when you come out of an ice age? You expect things to warm up, right? Also, when it comes to it, science is getting better at weather observation. We have more stations available than we did in the past. So we're reading more data than we were previously. That's also what I believe could be throwing off some things. That's kind of my take on it, but remember, I'm not trying to get political here. I just want to add that to context for you guys as well. Does that make sense? So we're coming out of an ice age, of course, which, things are gonna be warming up for one. We have more observational stations, which changes the overall averages. I mean, stuff like that, better weather stations, everything like that. But anyways, you know what? Weather patterns, they are real. Weather patterns happen. Sometimes you get crazy weather, sometimes you don't. And that's going to continue. That's going to continue. Anyways, getting off topic here. Is there much chance for another one to hit Florida strength-wise and spawning again on the end of the season? So there's no way to be 100% sure if Florida's going to get another storm or not, due to the fact that we really can tell the tropics about maybe max 2 weeks out. Even then, pushing 2 weeks is very risky. There's a lot of things that do change. At the current moment, there's no threat for Florida or anywhere in the U.S. regarding potential tropical activity. We still have about a month and a half of hurricane season left. It ends in late November, I believe November 30th. So whenever it comes to it, there is still time for more tropical cyclones, yes. But like I said, regarding where they go, we can't really tell. Isaac said, did I lose power in Milton? Yes, I did. I lost it for over 80 hours. It was rough. Like I said, I'm here in Lakeland, for the people who don't know, which obviously Milton made landfall in Siesta Key. I am right here. I'm in Lakeland, so I'm not far. We did lose power for 80 hours or so, a little over 80 hours. The temperature in the house was like in the 90s. Humidity was in the 80s. So imagine your home in 90 degrees and 80% humidity. It was very rough. And then, of course, at nighttime, it got down in the 70s, which was nice. But as soon as you open the door, there was a good 30 or 40 mosquitoes that would come inside. And my legs are completely bitten still from all of that mosquito bite. So it's like, you can have the cool air, but what sacrifice? It's like, that's the thing I hated. But luckily, my power's back on now. It took a while. We lost power on the 10th, and we didn't get it back until the 13th. So a little over 3.5 days or so without power, which kind of sucked. But I'm glad it's in the past now. Definitely glad it's in the past. But anyways, folks, well, we basically touched up everything we really needed to. If there's any final questions you guys might have in the chat, feel free to throw them down in the comments. And like I said, I'll be here to answer any questions you guys might have before I roll off here. We're going to do another live stream tonight. We're going to go live around 9 o'clock. Once again, I didn't go live earlier yesterday like I said I would because things popped up and, time kind of got under me. But yesterday we did push 2 updates, so I felt okay about it. But tonight we will do another update for you guys. I promise you, right around 9 o'clock or so Eastern time overall. And we'll give you guys more updates because at that point we're going to have more model information and stuff like that available to us overall. Where would that hurricane that might forming go? So that storm would likely stay south of the U.S. Due to the fact that we have a lot of high pressure ridging in the southeastern country. Also, a lot of pre-existing dry air that's moving into the region would also, if any tropical system attempted to come over here, it would basically get completely suffocated by the dry air. That's what leads me to believe that this is not going to be a problem for the U.S. There's not any support really of it going to the U.S. because that high pressure is going to help push it away. Not to mention the pre-existing air in the southeast would really suffocate that storm. So yeah, currently the U.S. is not under any form of risk for tropical systems right now. Now, the Caribbean, like I mentioned, here, let's go and bring up our spaghetti models here. We do have a better understanding of where this thing could go. Obviously, this thing's going to continue rolling its way to the west here. It's going to be going above the Virgin Islands or near the Virgin Islands, out there towards the Leeward Islands and the Lesser Antilles. We do have ourselves, of course, Puerto Rico potentially at impact, Dominican Republic, Haiti, potentially Eastern Cuba and the Southern Bahamas could be, potentially impacted with the system. At that point in effect, like I said, at that point in effect, that's still very far out. There's a lot of things that can change by then. So, but right now, there's currently no problem overall. Let's see here. What hurricane coming into the Atlantic Ocean? Well, right now, like I said, the next one I believe was it Natalie? I think it's the name of it. That's our next one on the list. Like I said, this storm here, the models are kind of putting this thing between tropical storm and hurricane strength. This thing could be a potential hurricane. We're just going to continue monitoring it. Once again, models are still kind of a little iffy right now regarding what it's going to do to the fact of uncertainty and all, but we'll keep y'all posted. Alrighty. Having good camping, no power at the house. You're good when you have the power for 2 weeks plus. Yeah, no, I used to go camping a lot as a kid, stuff like that. But I was also in Virginia and not in Florida, where so it's a different world down here, man. You see, gas grill, side burner, Coleman stove. Oh yeah, we had those. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have those gas stoves, and we'd always cook breakfast outside. It was nice, man. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap it up here, guys, for this update. Once again, we'll go live on our main layout here on my computer. Right now we're doing YouTube Shorts, but we're going to go back to our normal layout tonight. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing, leaving a like. Once again, if there's any final questions, going once, going twice, go ahead and throw them down in the chat. That way I can answer your question before I head off here. I want to go ahead and say thank you guys for joining us. And once again, I appreciate y'all for hanging out here with us. And once again, I want to say thank you for all the support and everything like that. Isaac says, I have a question. Go ahead and say it. Let's see here. Peachy says, bye, Andrew. Thanks for keeping us updated. No problem. No problem. Johnny says, thank you, Andrew. Glad to see you back at home. Yeah, you're very welcome, my friend. Good to see you here too, Johnny, and appreciate it. I see people calling me Andrew and Hunter. What is my real name? I'm definitely not Hunter. My name is Andrew. I don't know who's calling me Hunter. It could be somebody in chat talking to a Hunter in the chat, but I can tell you now I'm not Hunter. Alrighty, everybody. Well, once again, I appreciate y'all for joining here. Y'all take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll catch you guys later tonight around 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central for another update on the tropics and the cold front activity. And alrighty, everybody. Thanks for joining. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see ya later on. Peace out, my friends. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave a like. Be much appreciated. Catch you guys later on. Peace out.